So I've noticed, and recently I even interviewed MICL Group where they had
Yeah.
ventured into real estate, and earlier they did face challenges, even having a track record
Yes.
in the procurement and construction.
You will never see a real estate developer a tweet or Facebook post being
Hmm.
appreciated by somebody saying, "Thank you so much for giving us a wonderful home. आपने 3 महीना डिले कर दिया, आपने 6 महीना डिले कर दिया, मेरा ये लीकेज है, मेरा वो लीकेज है."
Hmm.
Right?
Thank you, Shyamal, for joining us today on Let's Talk Business Series by RealtyNXT.
Thank you for having me, Kritika.
So in 2007, I would say
7.
you started your journey with Raunak Group, and now we are in 2023 where you're launching Elements Reality.
Yes.
So give us a bit of a journey sneak peek, I would say, because now Raunak Group has been like known in Thane. Because in few years ago, people would not know about Raunak,
True.
but Raunak as a brand has built itself. Wherever people are, or even home buyers, investors want to invest in Thane, they always consider Raunak Group. So tell us a bit about your journey in Raunak Group and what made you also now start with Elements Reality.
So we've actually evolved a lot. You're right, as Raunak. From the time that we started to where we've reached today, we've actually done a massive transformation within ourselves, the buildings that we develop, the way things have moved ahead, and we always used to think we are doing good,
Hmm.
right? But it's when you go out of the well and you see what other developers are doing, you feel that, "हाँ यार, means कुछ तो missing है." I was lucky enough that when I started in 2007-8, uh, I got the sense of the site, understanding what is there, how it's being built, stuff like that. And I was part of the first boom of Lodha, right? Like my biggest
Hmm.
inspiration has been the way that brand developed. And I
Hmm.
think that changed real estate, right? Coming to
Yeah.
your question where you asked how, okay, what made you join real estate? Because as a field, it was always looked down upon कि builder है, दूर रहना, संभाल के रहना, problem
Yeah.
होता है. I think Lodha was the first builder which
Hmm.
became a developer, right? Which came out with marketing campaigns, ads, and in your face saying, "Boss, this is what we are building, this is what you are getting, and this is how much you are getting for,"
Hmm.
right? उसके पहले डेवलपर या बिल्डर लोग एडवर्टाइजमेंट नहीं देते थे,
Yeah.
होर्डिंग्स पे नहीं डालते थे, राइट?
Yeah.
एंड लोढ़ा यूज्ड टू पेंट द टाउन विद हिज होर्डिंग्स.
Yeah.
So that was the inspiration saying, यार ये कैसे कर सकता है, like
Hmm.
what is this and how is it. And when I saw his first launch,
Hmm.
and like 2008, it was a big thing. Now so they do it even grander,
Hmm.
and we started copying that, and a lot of people have copied, got inspired, done multiple
Hmm.
things. You're like, boss, ऐसे real estate कोई लेता है? Because
Hmm.
usually real estate deals क्या होता है, boss? You have your cabins, mini tables, conference rooms, और
Yeah.
deals होते थे,
Hmm.
right? किसी को मालूम नहीं पड़ना चाहिए आप किसको क्या बेच रहे हो, and all of those
Hmm.
things. To now where the table like we are sitting, उसके बाजू में दूसरा टेबल लगता है, उसके बाजू में दूसरा टेबल लगता है,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people sit and discuss and openly
Hmm.
buy a house. So that is what changed my whole perception, right? And I said that we need to up our game as well. We had the land bank, we were always happy with what we were doing,
Hmm.
but that one launch that I went and saw, it makes you introspect and makes you realize that, boss, you can do much better. And
Hmm.
I think over the last decade or so, we've actually flipped the switch
Hmm.
and evolved from selling, I don't know, 30 crore rupees in a year to now hitting a turnover into well over 4 digits, right?
Hmm.
Saying that, boss, this can happen, means you can time your launches, get that growth. It is that cyclic movement. Being from Carpenter, Santa Cruz, always wanted to get into redevelopment,
Hmm.
always wanted. My father started it from here, Raunak, as I said, right, when I
Hmm.
started with you, saying Raunak is my dad's second innings in life. He used to make buildings in Carpenter, Santa Cruz, because तब तक थाने में तो कुछ होता ही नहीं था, right?
Yeah.
Thane was an industrial town, factories.
Hmm.
It was in the 90s that my father moved his base from Carpenter to Thana.
Hmm.
Uh, that's when I joined Ronak. Before that, he used to develop, or he has developed about 30, 33 odd buildings in Khar, Bandra, Santa Cruz, and Dheri, right?
Hmm.
So it always is home. It has always been home. We moved out
Hmm.
because real estate at that time was very different in Khar, Bandra, Santa Cruz. Subodh Kumar came in,
Hmm.
fungible happened, clarity in rules happened. That was the pre-RERA area, right?
Yeah.
This was, I think, the first trigger to RERA coming into play, where definition of an area got clear. कि आपको इतना ही मिलेगा और सब बिल्डिंग्स ऐसे ही बनेंगे, राइट? पहले तो every developer had its own livening forte.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now real estate, hence you see corporates coming in. Livening is a part of it, but जो मुझे मिलता है वो आपको मिलता है, वो किसी और को मिलता है. You can change the design a bit, but FSI has standardized. You cannot cheat in FSI, right? So that came into play. We tied up hands with a friend, did a couple of projects with them. Uh, then we said the next step of evolution is to do it on our own. They said, you know what, we would like to do it on our own. We said, ठीक है यार, we live here. This is what we want to do. Affordable housing we anyways do. It's not that Thane is the only market that we operate under. Raunak, Thane is there, Kalyan is there. We are in Shilfata now. We have explored and gone to Sion as well in Bombay City. We've got a couple of projects within Bombay. Uh, so then we said, you know what, this is all mass or affordable housing. This is that sub 5 crore, 3 crore bracket. We needed to be into that luxury segment as well, because in Thane also we are building from a 30 lakh rupee apartment to a 12 crore rupee apartment, right? We built a project in Thane under the name of Viraj Tower, which is 4,000 square feet on a single floor, two apartments, 4,000, 3,000 square feet. उस जमाने में कोई नहीं बनाता था, राइट? इतने बड़े बिल्डिंग्स थाने में कोई नहीं बनाता था. 1 and 2 bedrooms, 3 बन गया तो बहुत हो गया, और 4 bedroom तो आपको जोड़ी लेना पड़ता था. So we said Pokhran Road will develop into a better state, so we will build luxury. So then we said, why not get into luxury of car and Santa Cruz again, right? Redevelopment is now much more clearer. It is now on your risk appetite. We know the field, we have the expertise, so why not get into redevelopment? Hence the launch of Elements Realty, where we said, खुद ही करना है, but let's segregate the brand. Life becomes easier that way, because under the Raunak brand, it is easier to get a society. But it is also difficult to explain to them, because at times will be like, आप तो affordable बनाते हो, कभी luxury बनाया है? So we said, rather than every time justifying and answering those questions, let's start it as a brand new name and a brand, and say, हम Elements Realty हैं, we are a part of the Raunak family, but this is only a redevelopment. So it's a clean slate, and it is easier to say Elements के नाम पे कुछ नहीं बना है, Raunak के नाम पे बहुत कुछ बना है, rather than justifying why a development is a development irrespective of you putting a tile or a marble. Right? So we said, was brand new name, different office, to cut and segregate that, right? The back office remains the same, the expertise remains the same, but you have two segregations into it.
So when it comes to Mumbai real estate, now we are seeing the scarcity of land, right? So that's why there's more players coming in for the redevelopment. And this is where you are launching Elements Reality in a space where so many players are already coming in and already existing. Some are doing, I think, a collaboration, or some are taking standalone buildings and doing the redevelopment on their own. Where do you see Elements Reality differentiate among other players? What's the USP?
So the run of the mill answer would be, our designs are better. This is, okay. I will cut all of that, because the honest answer to that is, right, as you rightly said, a lot of the whole world wants to redevelop, and not just redevelop in micro markets. Khar, Bandra, Santa Cruz, Juhu, Warsaw is now becoming hot, and certain pockets of South Bombay. These are the only 6 pockets where redevelopment makes sense, right? You will not hear of redevelopment in Lower Parel, because there are these factory lands which are being built and developed over years. You cannot compete with the prices of that, right? Our expertise as Elements will lie in the fact that we have the expertise of developing in a small plot a 32-story building in Thane, two in a 50-acre land, developing multiple buildings, giving some possession, developing another plot of land. So we can build everything from a Raunak residency in a tight lane of Vartak Nagar, which is 3 wings, 30 floors each, right? To a Raunak Bliss or a Raunak City, where we've got acres and acres of land with a 20,000 square feet office, buildings being built, different stages, right?
Yeah.
We bring that expertise to redevelopment, right? Now imagine collaborating mass housing expertise where you have the best of the contractors, you have your labor force, you have your massive teams, and doing a niche product where we would want to service the clients being our redevelopment guys or the buyers on a one-on-one basis. So I bring in the expertise of developing big projects to a 1,000 square meter plot, to having the patience of dealing with multiple societies and collaborating, because eventually rather than building two buildings on two plots next to each other, the better way of developing the city is to merge multiple plots and build one big building with more open space around it, right? So that is the twist, let's put
Yeah.
it that way,
Yeah.
that we would like to bring in with Elements Realty, because that's how we've been signing some of the projects. It's not that we are not signing 800 900 meter plots, yes we are, but we are also amalgamating 2 3 7 800 meter plots,
Yeah.
dealing with three different set of society members and bringing them onto one platform and showing them what is the USP, right? Because we have that USP of building big. We have the team, we have the contractors, architects, RCC consultants on the job who know how to squeeze things also that way.
So I've noticed, and recently I even interviewed MICL Group where they had
Yeah.
ventured into real estate, and earlier they did face challenges, even having a track record
Yes.
in the procurement and construction uh, sector where they were quite known, and they had built a lot of ports and everything. But I'm sure you must have also faced initial challenges, even having the experience and building Raunak Group. Starting with Elements Reality, I'm sure even be the home buyers or even the other players who are current in this market must be questioning your entry in this luxury segment, right?
Totally.
So how did you overcome such challenges?
Disadvantages, I didn't build Raunak Group, right? My father and Rajan uncle, Rajan Bandilkar, they built Raunak Group. So
Yeah.
I was lucky enough that what Rajan uncle and dad built, I sat, right? Yes, you learn, but the foundation was laid. So life was very simple. के पास plinth बनने के बाद building बनना is very easy, right? Like I give, like in analogies, the foundation takes the longest time, right? Because you have to go underground, nobody sees the work happening.
Yeah.
Once you hit the ground, on top slab rose दिखता है, right? And people say अरे कितना जल्दी बन गया. Till the time that पत्रे के ऊपर आप नहीं आते हो, लोगों को लगता है काम ही नहीं हो रहा है, right? So I was lucky that all of that was built in Raunak. So I'd never seen the struggles that Rajan uncle and dad went through. From procuring land to setting up the office to setting up the team, never sat in. I just came to the office and I realized, अच्छा ये अपना office है, ये अपने लोग हैं, ये engineering department, ये sales department. So to build on that was very easy, right? So scaling became easier because I was given a free hand by both of them, saying, बेटा तू सीखेगा ऐसे, right? So Rajan uncle was very instrumental because my dad is more conservative, Rajan uncle is a more risk taker, let's put it that way, right? Dad has always been सोच समझ के करना, Rajan uncle like तू कर ले फिर देख लेंगे, right? So I got the learnings from both of them, how to be conservative on one end and how to, if you don't take the risk, you'll not grow.
True.
Building elements is a challenge, is going to be a challenge. We are technically 6 months young, right, as a startup, because we just got the company registered. I just got the office in BKC. So the challenges are far greater because I've never built anything from the ground up, right? So to build a team, because we want to segregate that as an experience to give to the societies that we manage or the people that we sell houses to, because nobody's going to come to our Thane office.
Yeah.
We have a massive office in Thane, but to call a Bandra guy to Thane, he's going to be like, "Chhodna yaar," right? So to build a core team is a challenge. Every time answering questions about your credibility is a challenge. Every time answering, तुमने बनाया क्या है, एलिमेंट्स के नाम पे क्या बना है, सर कुछ नहीं, right? Is a challenge and you learn with every society, right? It's a fun experience because I was talking to somebody before I came here. You tend to realize who your well-wishers are and who are not, right? Because now I'm out of the shield of Raunak, because Raunak is now an established brand. You launch a project, just put the Raunak Group board. People will convince and say, अच्छे लोग हैं, बन जाएगा बिल्डिंग, तू चिंता मत कर. right?
Mm.
Which we've taken so many years, them starting it to the last decade. It's a
Mm.
30-year journey of Raunak Group, right?
Yeah.
To now trying to do that and convince that in elements
Mm.
is starting from ground zero again,
Mm.
right? Uh, we are in a great field where we all sit on the same table
Mm.
as friends in real estate, but we compete for the same piece of land,
Mm.
right? This is the true test under elements that I face or we will face in the future, where even your well wishers, because as you started saying, land is scarce,
Mm.
everybody's getting into it, so
Mm.
there's limited things, but everybody wants it, right?
Mm.
This is when you realize, are you willing to let go or are
Mm.
you willing to fight for it? Healthy competition is great,
Mm.
but you do tend to realize that there are guys who are your friends but are not your friends, right? And the market is very small here.
So you're saying the major challenges will come from the other place rather than home buyers or the
Always,
society.
always, because see, as a eventually, Ronak is an established brand, right? My
Mm.
father started in Carbanda Santa Cruz. We still live in Carbanda Santa Cruz, so people have heard of Vijay Modi,
Yeah.
right? Like how people know of Rajan Bandelkar
Mm.
because he's now all over
Mm.
everywhere, right? From Naredko city, state to
Mm.
Naredko central,
Mm.
he's everywhere, right?
Mm.
But in Carbanda Santa Cruz also people know Vijay Modi क्योंकि उस जमाने में नाम से बिकता था.
Yeah.
आपके
Yeah.
ब्रांड से नहीं बिकता था, आदमी कौन बना रहा है उससे बिकता था,
True.
राइट? सो दैट इज हेल्पिंग अस टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट बिकॉज रीडेवलपमेंट में एडवांटेज क्या होता है यार, जो बिल्डिंग डैड ने बनाई थी या जहाँ पे डैड ने किसी के पहचान वाले हैं, वो लोग फोन करते हैं विजय भाई का बेटा है, ठीक है, हो जाता है, राइट? सो दैट्स द
Mm.
क्रेडिबिलिटी दैट कम्स इन. Ronak adds another dimension of credibility,
Mm.
so it helps in. But the fierce competition for limited plots available, because we are
Mm.
going through this amazing period in real
Mm.
estate where every second plot is being either broken down or signing a DA,
Yeah.
where now you will not have further lands, right? Uh, the next phase, according to me, will be another 20 years from now, 30 years
Mm.
from now, when
Mm.
again rules will change. So people are dying for it.
Mm.
Now, in that dying for it, the same guys, let's say you and I, today are having this cup of coffee, day after tomorrow, we are going to pitch to the same society,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And that is where the fun's gonna be.
Mm.
Are you still Kritika, my friend, or
Mm.
are you Kritika, the businesswoman who's gonna say, "ये तो मुझे चाहिए, श्यामल को मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए."
True.
That is when you realize, okay, either you need to grow sharper teeth,
Mm.
or you need to back off and be content in life. So that will be the biggest challenge I think I will face in growing elements.
That's quite interesting, which you have put it across. But I will touch into it in the next segment. But before we go to the next segment, I want to ask you, there's the brand Elements Reality talks about the four elements, incorporation of four elements, that is fire, earth, air. I want to understand, how do you make these elements deliver into your projects? How are you uh, making it customer centric and a greater experience by incorporating and announcing such elements to be part of Elements Reality?
So I'll rephrase and touch that, right? The
Mm.
idea was the name Elements Realty came in. It was very easy to put a Modi builder or Modi elements or something
Mm.
like that, or continue with something, right? The idea was an amalgamation. Earth has these four elements: earth, fire, wind, water, right?
Mm.
And how together as a synergy, the planet is beautiful. As I said, I wanted to get into finance. Marketing became my core, sales and marketing, and you learn a lot about building a house through marketing. It's not just selling a घर,
Mm.
इट इज कि उसका प्लानिंग कैसा होगा, आप उसको बनाएंगे कैसे, उसमें चीजें क्या डालेंगे,
Mm.
all of those things makes that final house that a guy unlocks and
Yeah.
walks into, right? So elements realty, the idea was clear that how this earth is formed with these four elements. We first drafted the four eight pillars that we wanted, right?
Mm.
Even if you see our logo, uh, it is very unlike real estate. It's a very colorful
Yeah.
logo. It's not a black, blue, green, yellow, red. It's not just one color.
Mm.
It's actually eight colors which form the logo, which goes like a rainbow.
Mm.
The inspiration was, why does a brand have to just stand for one thing?
Mm.
Like a blue means trust, or a red means fire, which is actually showing aggression, saying that we are an aggressive brand, we'll do this,
Mm.
we'll do that. We said, why can't it be a mixture of all together, right?
Mm.
Uh, So the inspiration was actually the periodic table, which, because 18 years in real estate, it looks like a skyline. We said, why can't we incorporate all of these 8 things that we want to do into our brand ethos? And each of the colors which is there in our logo represents one of the ethos, right? So we've taken trust, we've taken love for our customers, which is red, because it can also be aggression, but red is also the universal color of love, right? So we've taken all of these 8 colors, given those 8 pillars, and elements realty, right? So elements is 8 letters, 8 pillars, 8 colors. That is the whole universal thought behind building this, which covers everything from love for customers to how we would love to incorporate technology being in the 20th century or 21st century, to how ergonomically and efficiently designing a product, because the field that we want to get into is redevelopment. The biggest challenge that we face is lower floors and higher floors, all of them looking unified, where the planning has to be great, and also from the outside, the elevation has to look very good, right? Because you're sort of redefining the skyline of the city for the next 30, 40, 50 years.
True.
So, how do you incorporate all of that? Hence, we wanted to make it saying that, boss, we will define these ethos, where our buildings become a landmark within that lane, micro market, city, state, right? So all of those things are written down, where technology, according to me, will play a major role, not just banking and you getting your demand letter on your phone or being able to transfer funds to a real estate developer, but life is about making things easy. Can you sit here, WhatsApp it to us as a developer saying, boss, मेरे को ये changes चाहिए घर पे, and you get a confirmation back with a picture where you don't have to visit the site, right? Because when the site is not ready, you're not going to climb 15 floors every time, right? But can we keep on updating you via your phone? To when you move into your house, I think home automation or IoT is going to be the next big thing. Home automation is reaching that stage, but IoT will change things, not just switching lights on and off. But I think there are a lot of things being built. Hence, technology became one of the major pillars for us. Efficiency in planning became a major pillar for us. That is what will be the unique selling feature of our houses. Saying that, sir, we have designed the house flow, looking at how you would like to live, right? In terms that, can we give a floor plate of 2,000 square feet? Not a standard 4 bedroom, but can it be a 3 bedroom or a 2 bedroom or a 1 bedroom? So how will the columns and beams look? Where if you knock down this wall, does the beam overhang come in your room or your living room? Because a lot of people take जोड़ी apartments और फिर जब आप दीवार तोड़ते हो तो वो beam दिखता है. So then you're like, अच्छा ये height होता है, ये beam आ गया, height उधर है. So it changes the aesthetics of your house, right? Then you'll put a false ceiling to that level. So all of those things formed the thought process behind the logo, saying that, can we encompass it and how beautiful this earth looks with just these 4 elements? Can we get these 8 elements in and make that house building and home buying experience a great thing from end to end to the customer?
I think it's quite, you have given time and thought in that, and it's
We
quite
did.
interesting to know because what we have noticed in Indian real estate, right? It's an emotional investment when it comes for a home
It
buyer to
is.
invest in home. But it's been become a pattern where we are noticing brands being launched on the surname of the
Right.
builder, right? So it somehow gives accountability or trust to showcase that if we are associating our name to it, you can trust us to buy home with us. And this is where you are launching a name which is not associated to your
Nothing.
name, but something quite different, well thought. But do you think this will definitely resonate with home buyers? Because home buyers को अब आदत होगी ना कि आपका ओबरॉय है, आपका गोदरेज है, सब अपने नाम से करें बिकॉज़ उनको लगता है अच्छा अकाउंटेबिलिटी है, ट्रस्ट है, वो एक you create that kind of customer behavior also in terms of responding to brand names, right?
True.
And now we are seeing a change, especially with your brand. There are a few more brands who are coming, not saying no to their surnames, but something different which can make it also a global name. So, how do you see this? How do you see it will be perceived by Indian home buyers?
Now that's a 15-year journey that I'll have to traverse to reach and say that boss elements का नाम याद रहता है कि नहीं याद रहता है, right? The idea was, as I said, right, it came because my daughter loves rainbows, right? Um how in a rainbow multicolors look great together. That's why multicolors could look great on a logo. Means talking to the agency saying I am okay having 8 colors in my logo changes things, because an agency is told ये 3 ब्रांड कलर है, इसके आगे पीछे तो कुछ करना मत, ब्लैक व्हाइट में दे देना और बाकी कलर डाल देना, राइट? It's not that I'm letting go of my surname also, right? Very proud of being who I am, where I am, at what my father's brought in. Uh, but if you notice with Raunak also, right? There's no Bandelkar in it, there's no Modi in it. Raunak is a very generic name. Raunak means brightness. Raunak means literally Raunak, khushiyan, right?
Yeah.
So we come from that thought process, right? Elements is just an extension of that thought process. Not that I'm going to name my generation after me elements, but it comes from the thought process that why can't we have a neutral name where I am being associated with, or the family is being associated with, and the family is saying we are elements, elements is us, right? Why does it have to be that? It is taking it to the next step, because today there's a Modi who's there, tomorrow there could be a Patel or a Shah or whoever. Can a brand go beyond the surname that is running or starting the show, right? A Paytm doesn't have the founder's surname,
Yeah.
right? A Cred doesn't have the founder's surname, because these are companies and organizations being built, right? The trust in that name and surname will be built over years, because in a Paytm or a Google Pay or an Amazon, the trust is built by the leadership principles that the founders have put into play. These are consumer products or mass consumer items where trust builds either overnight or doesn't build at all.
Right.
Real estate trust will build over time. From the time I start talking to the first society to the time I sign them, break them, rehouse them is a 4 or 5 year journey.
True.
Right? So it is going to be a 15-year journey for me to realize whether what we envisioned or started with saying these are the 8 pillars that we'll cover, and this is how the houses will look, and this is what will happen, and hopefully the customers or the home buyers or the society guys who come back, right, the homeowners who trusted us with their house and are buying it, do they buy into that journey as well and say that हाँ यार श्यामल तूने जो बोला था ना कि ऐसे ऐसे बिल्डिंग बनेगी, ऐसे ऐसे घर बनेगा, ये थॉट प्रोसेस के अंदर बनेगा, बना है, right? That one guy or one woman coming to me and saying बेटा जो आपने बोला था ना ये होता है, that is the win. I don't need 3,000 guys coming and liking us and saying thank you very much. One guy, right? Because I'm in a field, unfortunately, where appreciation is very limited. You will never see a real estate developer cut tweet or Facebook post being appreciated by somebody saying thank you so much for giving us a wonderful home. आपने 3 महीना डिले कर दिया, आपने 6 महीना डिले कर दिया, मेरा ये लीकेज है, मेरा वो लीकेज है, राइट? लीकेज है, yes we are very sorry, we will fix it, we'll redo your house. Nobody after that says thank you so much for taking prompt action and fixing the leakage. Nobody does that, because I think as a society we are more happy complaining rather than being happy, right? And real estate is your biggest emotional investment. You come home tired from a long day at work and you see yaar nal leak ho raha hai. It is very easy to remove your frustration on developer because there is a face to it. You can't remove your frustration on Apple now, can you? Because who do you talk to? It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation where you will never be able to reach to the top, right? Real estate developers are a lot hands-on. We take onus to a lot of things. There are developers and there are corporates. The developers will always outrun, outnumber, and outbid a corporate because we don't run on spreadsheets. So hence, multi-generational real estate developers, right, will outperform everybody.
So you're breaking barriers in real estate industry by coming out with a neutral name that can be
Yes,
known for the brand itself rather than with
rather than the
someone's
surname
surname.
that's attached to it or the surnames that are attached to it.
So that's great. And also, I want our viewers also to know under Elements Reality, what are the upcoming projects? If you could give us a sneak peek to it.
So we started off with the micro market of Carbon and Santa Cruz because that's where we live. The idea was to first get within the friends and family references circle, because bidding process usually take time. You
Hmm.
fill a tender, you go through. We've applied for certain tenders. We've closed in close to about 7 societies
Hmm.
within the micro market of Carbon and Santa Cruz. Uh, I would. There are actually 9 buildings, but eventually there'll be 7 because we are
Hmm.
merging certain plots together, and we are also bidding for certain plots within South Bombay. So we are in the next 12 months. You're looking at about 6 projects being launched. So in the next financial year, you will have every quarter a project being launched, or 2, depending upon how fast the approvals come in. Because we are getting into an election year,
Hmm.
center and state both.
Yeah.
So the processes might get a bit elongated.
Hmm.
So the idea is to speed up at least as much paperwork as possible before March,
Hmm.
and then hope for the best. But yeah, you're looking at about 6 launches in the next financial year.
Nice.
Yeah, been a bit aggressive.